Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby was not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Hey, everybody. This is Webby, and that guy right over there is...
Eddie.
That's right. And this is Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. We haven't done this in a while. It's good to be back.
That's right. And Webby, I need you to remind me, what's the difference between the Eddie and Webby podcast and Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby?
Well, the main difference is it is raw, it is unscripted, and it's uncensored. That means we can say whatever the heck we want. And we kind of, like, it's mostly unscripted. We have a guest in the works.
Well, it's not really a script. It's a guest lined up.
Yeah, unplanned. Like, it's usually unplanned. This is slightly planned, but not very planned.
Yeah. Ever so slightly.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. Basically, it's just us hanging out and chatting. And tonight is an exciting night because we're going to have somebody chatting along with us. And it's not just going to be us.
Tonight is your night, babe. Do you know what song that is?
I have no idea what you're doing right now.
I don't know either. I'm just making up songs.
Nice.
Yes,
so how was the beverage you are sipping on?
It's good, but you can tell it's been sitting for a while because a lot of the hop aroma has really faded out. And, you know, even the 90-minute IPA, you typically want to drink it fairly fresh. It's got a little bit longer of a shelf life than maybe a 60-minute IPA, but at this point, it's all the hop aroma and flavor is kind of dissipated. So it's just like, just bitter.
Bummer. I am enjoying my mango Oberon. I did run and get a glass, so I'm not drinking straight out the bottle now.
Okay.
It is pretty tasty. It's like, it really, I don't taste a whole lot of mango though, so that part's a little disappointing. There's a little hint of mango. Something I've read in some craft beer forums is if I let it warm up a little bit, I guess the mango flavor stands out a little bit more. Does that make sense to you?
100%. Yeah. Anytime you want to get more aroma from a beer and even flavor, you really want it to warm up. And so a lot of times, like when I would do beer tastings back in the day, you'd get your hands on it, kind of swirl it around and let it warm up. Because the colder it is, the less aromatics come out of solution, if that makes any sense.
It does. It does make sense. But yeah, I like it. It's like the little bit of mango, it makes it a little smoother, I would say, than the regular Oberon. And almost like I would say almost a little less weedy, like a little less wheat tasting, which I like because I'm not a huge fan of beer that has a lot of like a wheat taste to it.
Well, and that mango complements wheat because wheat's going to give you a little bit of a citrus flavor, almost like an orange or things like that. And so I could see how the mango would complement that very well. I would be curious if you also added habanero to it because I love mango habanero beers. And I think with the wheat base beer, along with the mango flavoring and a little bit of habanero, it would probably be pretty delicious and spicy.
Ooh, that does sound good. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw a post from Elk Brewing recently, and I think they did exactly what you said. I think they have a mango habanero beer. Or they have some kind of beer with habanero in it. I feel like it had mango also, but I could be wrong.
Is it habanero or habanero? Is there the little tilde over the N?
Hinyamanero. I think it's Hinyamanero. No, I have no idea. So do you see that our guest has connected? Our guest might have already tried connecting.
They've connected, but I don't see the camera coming through. And there's a little swirly thing on the screen. So I think it might just be a matter of selecting the right camera. That's all. You know how that goes. Live. This is live, folks.
Exactly how it goes. Yeah, this is like one of the charming moments of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. This is all live, and a lot of times our guests are trying to connect with us for the first time ever, and we didn't test things out. Didn't have a chance to test things out beforehand, so we never know if it's actually going to work. Hopefully, it will.
That's right. While you're working with our guests, can I tell a quick little story?
Yeah, I would love to hear a story.
So, I love going to pickleball tournaments, and I'm excited for when we get COVID under control as a world to be able to start going back to them. And one of the things I always wanted to do was to be able to have an RV there, a motorhome that I can just park in the parking lot, stay for a couple days, have a place to shower, use the restroom, sleep at night, and all that. And so my wife and I we ended up getting one, which I'm super excited about. But let me tell you something. We've had it now for 26 days, and we bought it brand new. This isn't like a 10-year-old used one full of issues, brand new. And we've been able to use it for 3 out of the 26 because all of the other times it's been in the shop.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was not happy about that. Our first trip out, we're about 30 miles away. Car overheats, have to pull over, and it's because there's an issue with a faulty radiator hose. So that was problem one. They had to keep it for a week. Got it back. Went on our second trip. Everything was good. A week later, refrigerator goes out and it starts spewing ammonia into the entire RV. And you couldn't even be in there for more than literally 30 seconds without wanting to pass out. It was that strong.
Oh, jeez.
So, okay, no big deal. Bring it back to the dealership. They order refrigerator. Refrigerator arrives this morning. They were going to install it today. I was going to pick it back up tomorrow or Friday. We were going to go on another little weekend getaway. Get a phone call this morning. Apparently, when the delivery person went to get the refrigerator, they had a fork right through the freaking refrigerator.
No. Oh my God.
So after all of this, I asked them, I said, can you just take the current refrigerator out? You know, the one that's expelling these poisonous gases. Can you take it out and just let us use it until the new refrigerator comes in? So they agreed to that. So I'm going to go get it Friday and we're still going to use it this weekend. But it's like, man, it's like you think you buy new and spend all that extra money because it costs way more to buy new than used, especially in the RV world. And it's like,
right.
It just doesn't want to work.
Damn.
But I see that we have somebody connected with us right now, and I'm wondering if they're able. I'm wondering if they're able to hear us and if we're able to hear them.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, wait a minute!
I can hear them. I can hear them.
Hey!
Oh,
and
hey.
I can see them. Hey!
Woo!
It worked.
What's up, gentlemen?
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well. Yeah, a little bit of stress, but I figured something out new. I love learning new things live. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, there's nothing like the pressure of being live to really kick it in full effect.
Right. Yeah, that little bit of adrenaline just sharpens you, and yeah.
Yeah, and that's the absolute best way to learn things is when you're live on the air. Nothing beats it.
Why not? Why not?
So for anybody just tuning in, obviously we are now joined by Brandon Swanson, a.k.a. the Paddle Geek. So this is very exciting. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, first time on the show. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, it's actually it's surprising it's taken this long for a collaboration to happen. I'm glad it finally did happen. Yeah. This is awesome stuff here. So actually I'm gonna do something very shocking, and I'm gonna ask you a question. It's like unheard of for a pickleball podcast. And that question is, how did you first get into this crazy world of pickleball?
It was a YMCA about 10 years ago. I was training for my first marathon, and I heard some noise in the gym, and there was a new sport, and I'm just a big kid at heart. I was up on a treadmill training for my first marathon, and I see these guys doing something with rackets or paddles or I don't know what. I'm like, oh, no. You're not going to try a new game without me. So I was in the gym like later that day, and everybody just welcomed me right in. It was all like retirees and a few firefighters, that had their lunch breaks. I was a stay-at-home dad. So that became my Friday dessert after training the week of training for this marathon, Monday through Thursday on a treadmill at the YMCA. And then Friday I'd go hit the pickleball courts, and then that quickly became Wednesday and Monday. I still got my run in, but I also got my pickleball in at that point. So yeah,
nice.
That's where it all began.
Very nice. And I'm sorry, how long ago did you say that was?
That was about 10 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see. I guess 9 years ago, because that was 2011. Yeah. So I got to tell you about the biggest lie I told my wife after that, which was, I don't know. When I try something new, I tend to get like all the cool gear and swag and everything that goes with it because I just like those things. And I said to
Right.
my wife, I'm not going to buy a paddle. I'm not going to buy a paddle. I'm just going to use the wooden diller paddle that I've got there. It's fine. Not going to do it. And 9 years later, not only did I break that, but I've got somewhere around 140 premier paddles at this point. So it's a little
Wow.
ridiculous. I've only bought 6 of them. I'll just say that. Over time, I get them sent to me to review. If you all don't know,
Nice.
but so yeah. Yeah.
Well, one kind of funny thing is you talked about how like you said you weren't going to buy one, you're just going to use the wooden paddle. I was one of those people when I first started playing pickleball. Like a lot of people, I bought like these cheap wooden paddles from Amazon, and I thought that it was totally fine. And people kept telling me like, "Oh, you got to ditch that wooden paddle. You got to get something better." And I was like, "No way, man! This wooden paddle is totally fine." And like I tried to fight it for a while. I was like, "I'm going to stick with this wooden paddle. I do good with this thing." But then, of course, the first time I ever held like a decent one, I think the first good paddle that I bought was or that I held onto and tested out was the Onyx Z5. And when I played with that, I was like, yeah, this is better than a wooden paddle.
Yeah. Yep, a Z5 is in the honor row up top there. I've got my blaster on the door of the Geek Lab right behind me here. That was my first paddle that I ever bought. It is like falling apart. I used it for like 6 years, and then when I went to buy a new one, I was overwhelmed by the choices because when I went to buy the first one, there was like the Z5 and the blaster. That was pretty much the 2 choices that everyone was going with. And
Yeah.
then I look at like Pickleball Central, and there's just this massive amount of paddles. I'm like, holy cow, how do I choose a paddle? And that was kind of the beginning question of like, maybe really needs to kind of sift this out for people and help people make the right choice for a paddle. And then I thought that person just might be me. So yeah.
Nice.
How do you have
is
that
origin
just
story.
adhered to the wall there?
They're glued and then screwed, and then also no, I'm just kidding. They're not. They're like, ah! That was for shock value. No.
Yeah, I'm sure at least a dozen people fainted just now.
Yeah, I'm never going to get another paddle again from the manufacturer. They're like, what the? No, I didn't know that. No, they're just they're held. There's nails on the wall, so just 2 nails there, and they get cycled quite often. The wall is always changing. Like if I know somebody's on the court that wants to try a particular one, I'll take that one off, put another one on. I try to be diplomatic as well with the different companies and share the love. So yeah, but it's they come on and off. My kids might steal one here and there. Probably that's what happened here and here. The lower ones are conspicuously missing, so that's probably a toddler. So yeah. But
yeah, well, I personally am very grateful for people like you that do what you do to give good, honest reviews of all these different paddles out there, because like you said, it is very overwhelming when it comes to trying to buy a good high-end paddle. So yeah, I love the fact that you do that. So how long was it after you first started playing pickleball? How long after that was it that you got the idea to do the whole Paddle Geek thing?
Let's see. I've been doing Paddle Geek for about 2.5 years, I think now, or maybe it's been 3. About 3 years I've been doing Paddle Geek, and it was really, okay. I just honestly I didn't know. I knew I wanted to do something within pickleball. I didn't know what exactly, and so that was just kind of my starting point. And as you guys know, we've talked, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. It's gotten a lot of different places from there, from like running a group that has Pickleball Underground that has 4,300 members now, to coaching and also commentating too. Like this year, I had a couple of pro commentating gigs lined up that were paid, and travel expenses, all that stuff. And COVID happened, and so all that got shut down. But yeah, what was the question? the Paddle Geek thing. It's about 3 years. About 3 years. Kind of dabbling first, and then as you know, you alluded to how the market is just like blowing up. The sport is blowing up with ESPN3, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into with this whole thing. I've got 2 coolers of paddles behind me right now, off to the side. I'm buried right now, buried with reviews. So yeah.
Nice. Well, so you mentioned commentating a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't the most recent tournament that you commentated the Hawaii Open? Is that right?
Yep, that was January. That kind of fell together with a conversation with Edward Hector. He was looking for a commentator for that event, and we were talking about a collaboration between Pickleball Central and Paddle Geek, my show, and just at the end, we just hit it off so well. He's like, "Hey, do you think you'd ever consider commentating?" And I'm like, "Well, maybe." And he's like, "Well, because we're thinking about Hawaii." And my maybe turned into a yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Oh, actually,
well, did I say maybe? I meant
answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, actually, my answer to him was something like, let me think about if I'd be comfortable doing that. That was my answer that I kind of hung up on the phone with him. And then I called my wife and I'm like, holy cow, honey, like they're asking me to go to Hawaii. And she's like, you said yes, right? And I'm like, kind of. And so I think I texted him back. It took me like 10 minutes and I'm like, turns out I'd be extremely comfortable doing that. And so but in my heart, I'm like, I always want to do the best job possible for people. And so it wasn't something that I'd considered a point. And so I just wanted to take a little time. Didn't take me long to figure it out, but it was a tremendous opportunity. I had a blast doing it. So hopefully I get to do a little bit more of that.
It's hard.
It's grueling. Yeah, you guys have. Who am I talking to here? And you guys actually helped me out with some of the equipment, and I bounced questions off you guys. I remember now. So I appreciate that.
It's a grind, though, man. I think I don't think people really understand what it means to live stream and commentate these matches. I mean, your head is on a swivel. You're staying engaged for 12 hours a day. You have your setup time, you have your takedown time, and it's just and I think, I don't know if you experienced this, but the crowd around you doesn't understand that you're live streaming something. They're coming up and trying to ask you questions and talk, and you're like, no, shut up, stop talking to me, I'm trying to live stream. Did you experience that at all?
A little bit, just from Glenn Lucy, actually. Yeah. No. No. I love Glenn. So yeah, a little bit. It was kind of fun actually, because I felt like I gained some in-person fans there at the tournament that I'd never met, that didn't meet me, and they liked, they were commenting like, I like sitting next to you because I get to hear, this inside scoop and stuff, and so I had a little fan club. I felt like sitting next to me, but they were pretty. They held their respectful distance, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I didn't really have a problem, but I did have some just fun with the crowd that was next to me, I guess. So yeah, but yeah, definitely a challenge, and in terms of endurance with it. But I was a wedding photographer for 7 years, so I kind of had that. I knew that it was going to be tough. I got ran over by a bus the next day after shooting a wedding. It's just being on mentally so for that long it's exhausting. It really is. So
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I used to do wedding videography, so same kind of thing. Like, I know how grueling a full day of nonstop coverage can be, so I can definitely relate. But I thought you did a great job. That was awesome, great coverage. I know you had to deal with some technical difficulties, but I thought you handled it very well. Because I know that's that is the most hectic thing. Because on top of trying to do the best commentary you possibly can, trying to keep track of everything that's going on, then if a technical issue happens, then that throws a whole wrench in everything. You got to try to work with that. So you got to do the tech support on top of the commentary, and it's just, I know it is a very tough thing. But you definitely did a great job. So nicely done with that.
Yeah, thanks. No, it was, I was a one-man gig there, so it was figuring out that's stretching me a little bit, technically speaking, with broadband and dedicated IPs and stuff like that. And it was a good challenge. Like I was really grateful for that. I did have to scramble and think around, and yeah, that was stressful. But kind of how you operate. In a way, you don't get a redo, as you know.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
like, let's start over. Let's do this tomorrow.
Right.
Can you guys come back and
You
play that point out exactly the same
Yeah.
way tomorrow?
Yeah.
I didn't get a good shot on
Yeah.
that, and I screwed up my words
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, can you do
Yeah,
that
so-
ATP again, and then make sure you do the Ernie just like that? 'Cause that was a great
Yeah.
Ernie.
Yeah. Well, those guys can. Like, they probably could deliver on that.
true.
On the
Right,
spot
yeah,
like
they
that.
probably could.
But, yeah. But
Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta admit,
Yeah,
I was very jealous. I was very jealous of when you were down there in Hawaii. Like that just seemed like such an amazing experience to be in Hawaii,
Mhm.
watching some of the best pros in pickleball do a tournament. I mean, how was that?
Pretty surreal, yeah. And getting to play some lefty games with the pros at night. I got to partner with Kyle Yates and play against like Peter Hidako and Brian Ashworth in a lefty or an offhanded game. And the great part was that I'm ambidextrous and Kyle is not, and so like I was the alpha dog in that in that scenario. So it was like doing stuff like, hey Kyle, I got this one. Like that drop, I could have gotten that. That's mine. Like
Nice.
not how it normally goes. So I was kind of playing that up a little bit. And,
Oh, that's cool.
they were a ton of fun, and they really embraced me in that role, being there. They're so gracious, like, and approachable in our sport, and so that was just yeah, it still like lingers. It feels like this magic, that experience that's still lingering in my mind. So yeah, hopefully we get to have it in 2021. I don't know what's it's still up in the air. That's January, I believe. Yeah, end of January. So hopefully it's on, but I don't know. We'll see. So
Yeah, hopefully, definitely. It's just I feel like it's gonna be tough because like that's like regular cold and flu season. So it's like, how do you know? Is it cold and flu or is it COVID?
Not
How do we
there
know?
though.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they probably don't have a cold and flu season, except we're all probably bringing it to them.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, I feel like the surreal feeling that you're talking about. I feel like that's how the Beer City Open was for me, and then just this recent the Florida Grand Slam that we did earlier this year. Both of those were just such amazing experiences that like I just can't wait for the stupid COVID stuff to be done with, and whatever vaccine, whatever needs to happen for us to go back to normal. I just hopefully it happens soon because I want to get back to how things were because it's right now things are not good.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think rec play is kind of seems to be coming back where I am. Like, but all the tournaments are canceled pretty much for this year, and so I don't know. Just trying to stay motivated to continue to drill and then head down and do this. The pickleball stuff that I do with coaching and with Paddle Geek. So that hasn't really slowed down. So that's
Yeah.
Well, I mean, coaching has definitely, like, I had in-person coaching, and then now that's also dried up. So yeah, but
So
this took
earlier,
just kind of a downturn into COVID.
you're right. Yeah, let's try to. We'll get
So
let's
new
lift things up a bit.
topic,
Let's
huh?
get more positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So earlier you mentioned the pickleball underground. What exactly is the pickleball underground for those unaware?
Yeah, so Pickleball Underground is my group, and it's pretty much a promotion-free kind of zone. We're trying to make it more of a a discussion kind of forum, so to speak, and it's basically the one major rule was like, be nice. I mean, I don't think a lot has to be explained more than that with the way the internet is.
Yeah.
Like most forums you go to, they get pretty nasty pretty quick, and if you don't like kind of set that expectation early and kind of just when somebody's there just to like and have fights and stuff, then we just don't let those people stay. But even just having that expectation, it's not even really been a problem. Honestly, I don't think I've really banned anyone for that. Some people for just like spamming the group with ads and stuff, but yeah. So it's a pretty awesome group. We had do something called the Underground Hero Award there, where people can nominate their friends that are doing cool stuff in the sport. And like for instance, the very first one I think was Cassandra Gerke, and like leaving her job to pursue a pro career, from a PE teacher to pro pickleball player, and just kind of honor that bravery there and just following her dreams. And there's been people that have introduced pickleball into the schools, heads of clubs, and then just anybody, like people that are greeting people as they come in. They're all, it doesn't have it, no matter how big, no matter how small, if somebody's doing something cool, nominate them in Pickleball Underground for the Underground Hero Award. We do it roughly like once a month or once every other month. And I send them like a pin, a handwritten letter, and then, I've got all my hookups from Paddle Geek, all the manufacturers. So we always do like some kind of paddle or a bag or something to send along as well. And last year, someone in Gene Click actually had the idea to present the award to his friend that he nominated. And so that's taken on a new life of its own with that. Like if we can get them to, I ship all that stuff over to the friend. And then if they can arrange to like kind of surprise them with a little ceremony, those have been just like, I've been in tears watching those things. So that's my heart in the sport. I love doing Paddle Geek stuff, and I love the gear and the swag and all that stuff, of course. But Pickleball Underground is where my at with it. So trying to reward the good guys of the sport, good guys and gals. So
nice. Yeah, I like it a lot, and I really like the fact that you are strong about like not having people promote stuff on there. I like that it's strictly a discussion forum. And one kind of funny thing, I don't even know if you know this, Eddie. I actually got banned from the group for a little while because I was posting like videos from our YouTube channel, and I wasn't really aware of the no promotion thing. And I totally get it though. Like I have no hard feelings at all. The fact that I got banned from it, I'm back on it, so that's good. But I mean, I like that. I can appreciate that fact, and I love the fact that you guys don't want people promoting things. And I think to be fair, it was like way before anybody like knew who we were, and it just looked like I was somebody promoting, probably pushing my YouTube channel. So I totally get it. I definitely understand why it was done, and but I do love that fact because it's awesome to have a group where it's just mostly positive and just focuses on conversations. You don't have to worry about people pushing stuff that they're selling. Don't have to deal with trolls and stuff like that. So I really do appreciate and like what you guys are doing with the Pickleball Underground group.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've got a couple of moderators, and we talk pretty often about like, hey, is this something we want to allow? Is it not? And I think we've grown. Like I love as much as that's maybe I'm like a touch embarrassed about my early days because I think sometimes I was a little fast with the band hammer. But now it's like if somebody posts something and they're not aware, I'll message them and say, hey, but at the time maybe I wasn't as bold to reach out first, but it was like acts first and questions later. I was going for a pun there, like acts questions later. No, I don't know, but it didn't come together. So, but anyway, that just, yeah, I mean, it's just to kind of protect the group, and our ultimate goal with it is to just to kind of connect people and raise their spirits. Facebook I can get pretty ticked off sometimes reading through Facebook posts. Yeah. So I just wanted to be a little bit of light in people's day. So we're pretty protective of it, but just setting the expectation. They get it, so it's not hard ultimately.
How many times have you had to ban Glenn Lucy from it?
I guess. How many? I use my feet. No.
Just Webby. Webby's the only one that's ever been banned from it.
Yeah. Actually,
what about Scott Lippens? Was he like never allowed on there, or was Scott Lippens part of it?
He's been on the edge. Scott's actually he's a friend of mine. He's blunt. I'll just say that sometimes.
Yep.
And I've said to him we've had some messenger conversations like, hey, you need to kind of just chill a little bit here in this thread. Let's just kind of calm down, Scott. Like, I get what you're saying, and I think you got a good heart. So it's just a matter of some of the 585 people would be upset with me if I said that, but kind of the New York, just forthright truth, even if it hurts. So, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, actually, that's his hashtag, isn't it? Truth. Hashtag truth.
Yeah, hashtag truth.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Scott, I like Scott. So I've got something for you guys.
Oh, really?
For us?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not okay. It's not like a real thing. But okay. Yeah. Let me back that up. I should probably explain real quick at this point. But I thought at the end of this, if we want to wrap up, not right now, but just when we wrap up, I've got my Paddle Geek top 10 list of paddles for y'all.
Yes.
So I thought that would be kind of a cool thing to do.
Oh yeah.
On the show.
Hell yeah.
But yeah. So I get that asked all the time. And so I thought we'd do that. This is the first time I've revealed it live.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to bring up, word on the street is that you're actually getting started with a new venture to where being the Paddle Geek might not be like your main focus moving forward. Is there any truth to that?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it's going to be, I think, a side venture, but definitely as much energy as I put into Paddle Geek, this new one is going to be just as big, if maybe more so. But actually, I'm going all in with coaching, and it's actually something that's a little bit new that hasn't really been done before in the same way. And so we've got Pickleball Underground, of course. That's not going anywhere. That's a free group. But kind of branching off from that, or at least complementing that, is the coaching program that is called Team Underground. And it launches August 15th. Again, we've had our beta launch in effect for about 3 months now. And Joe, actually, I see a comment from him right now. And he's a Team Underground member and making some pretty good progress there. But one thing to note is that it's called Team Underground, not Brandon's program, or like, I actually was going to call it Fearless Pickleball for a while. But I actually decided to shift gears and call it Team Underground because this is basically the first non-skill oriented pickleball team. And that it's really important to me that it be a team and not just a coaching program. So, we're going to do meetups across the country. Right now, we just do Zoom meetings twice a month, but it's all virtual, and it will continue to be. It's a $20 a month program, and I do lessons weekly. There are workouts. There's Q&A time where they can ask me anything, even paddle-related questions are fine. So yeah, it's really exciting to me. We're kind of picking up steam and figuring it out. It's been 3 months, but it continues to be that kind of interactive coaching program online. And so really excited about it, having a ton of fun there. So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And I like the fact, so like, what's an example of what goes on during one of these the virtual things? I know you mentioned a couple things, but like, is it something to where like somebody will like kind of maybe hit the paddle to show you like the way they hit it, and then you can kind of critique what they're doing and stuff like that, or how does that all?
Well, it's not.
Out?
Yeah, it's more that it's just not. I thought about this a little bit. It's not feasible to really do critiques per se, just the time factor that it would be, if we've got 100 members or so to like watch all those videos and get back to people. But,
Yeah.
like my method is more like emulation. So like I do usually about a 20-minute lesson or so, 20 to 30-minute lesson on Mondays. And even that is, so that's typically recorded and people can ask questions right there. But then Thursday Q&A, if there's, or anytime really, like they get unlimited access to me. So if there's one thing that isn't clear to them, if they describe, hey, I didn't really understand what you meant by, hinging your wrist on that top spin dink. What did you mean by that? We can often get to it without the video, and so
Right.
basically as much clarifying as I need to do, I'm willing to do that. So I've shot like this week, I ended up doing 2 lessons because I realized there was just too much for one. Like it was lob retrieval was the topic. And so I taught a whiteboard lesson and then I did an on-court demonstration on Tuesday. So Monday I did the in classroom one, and then Tuesday I did the other lesson, and then Thursday, tomorrow night, I will be doing a Q&A where they can ask me any questions about it. And so yeah, it's just really I think that's what makes it unique to other online coaching programs or video vaults or free videos is just the unlimited access they have to their, to me and to the coach and my, expertise with equipment and with coaching. And yeah, so I think it's been pretty good. Feedback has been good. And it'll just continue to get better. And I think that's another thing that makes it unique is that it's very interactive. Like if there's something they don't like or something they want more of, I'm just totally open to hearing that. And sorry, there are like 1 million flies in my garage right now, just so you know why I'm dancing around a little bit. And they are biting me like they are biting me like crazy. And it's like, I gotta be a pro here. Come on, man. But
that's the ultimate test
like
right
bleeding.
there.
Right? I don't want to look down right now. I'm probably like bleeding on my legs by now. But anyway, sorry. I couldn't take it anymore.
But, see, folks, he's a true professional. Anyway. The bugs are biting him. He's bleeding, and he's not letting it phase him one bit.
They kind of broke me though there. Composure. Okay, I got it back.
Yeah.
All right.
But so like one thing about the whole coronavirus thing that I feel like something that is kind of cool to see is how creative people are getting as far as like moving on and coming up with ideas of how we can do stuff like this from our homes and stuff. Yeah. So I definitely, that's great that you're doing something like this, because I think that it's a very valuable thing that a lot of people can definitely learn a lot from and get a lot of value from. So that's a great thing, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually there's something that's really kind of cool. Facebook, it's all delivered on Facebook. And if you have a social learning designation on your group, you can actually have units where they can check off when they've done a lesson. And so like I have a core, like essentials, core concepts unit with a couple of lessons that are like basic fundamentals. And then there's also one that's like wall drills. And so like, I did 90 days of exercise and wall drills like leading up to the first launch because of COVID. I'm like, people can't do this. I'm going to do this challenge for people. And a lot of those people that worked out with me in those mornings actually ended up being Team Underground members. And so that was kind of cool. But yeah, like my garage is all taped off with different markings, and, I came up with a ton of creative wall drills there. So there's a unit that's just wall drills for people that can't get to the courts right now. That's super valuable in addition to every week's topic that we do. So, there's some goodies that stay off to the side that are like core nuggets of whatever. I was going to say wisdom, but that felt a little bit too heady. But anything that I feel like, that we've covered that should go into like the vault there, that goes there. And so I think that's kind of a cool feature with it. So yeah. I think it serves those people well that can't get to the courts as often as they'd like to at this time. But I've actually had this idea long before COVID. I just hadn't pulled the trigger, and then COVID hit. I couldn't do what I wanted to do, and I suddenly was like evaluating my life, and I'm like, well, if not now, when are you going to do it? Just do it. I don't know if anybody's going to buy it because they can't even play right now. Your traffic is way down, but I'm like, do it anyway. Just do it. And so it's out there. It's ready, and August 15th it's going to be just even better. So I'm hoping to get a nice, a new class of students there and team members. So it's been a joy so far, and I think it's going to just be awesome going forward.
Very nice. So there were a couple messages that were shown on the screen earlier that I kind of want to go back and address. And one of them comes from Scott Golden. He says, "I think I got banned from the underground too." LOL. Do you
Not
remember that?
surprised.
Do you remember him getting banned?
Probably. I think he's probably been back. I think so. I think he's probably been there and then gone again and then there. And I think he might have been banned 3 times at this point. And but
yeah,
Scott's a
not
friend
surprising.
of mine. But Scott is a promoter. He's a go-getter, and so
yeah.
I think I'm just going to theorize without him here, even to correct me if I'm wrong. But I think he just doesn't always know where he's like that share button's there when you have a post, and he's just like share, or he's got like some kind of automated share system that just like boom, and
yeah,
get it, and then we talk, and then he's back, and then I don't know. Yeah, love me some Scott Golden, of course. He's a friend of mine.
Oh yeah, you gotta love Scott Golden. But
I can't show favorites. I can't show favorites. Got to be consistent. That's probably been tough.
We get
times.
that, man. Yeah.
Yeah. But then another comment I wanted to address is one from Joe Wilder, and he says, "New challenge match."
Ooh,
sorry, I went off my screen. New challenge match: Brandon and Scott versus Eddie and Webby.
No chance.
I'd be totally down.
Man.
No chance.
Yeah, we'll play. Yeah, we'll play you guys lefty if you need, for sure.
Oh man, come on.
That's some smack talking right there. I think we need to show them what's up.
All right, sounds good. I heard in the last video you guys have improved a bunch, so I'm a little. That made me nervous. That comment made me nervous. So I don't know.
I think we would give you guys a good run for your money.
I'm down. I'd love that. Yeah, let's do it.
There we go.
Let's do it. Let's add that to the list of challenges.
Yeah. All these challenges on there.
I don't think I can even count on 2 hands now all the challenges that have been issued towards us.
Yeah. 2021 is like the year of reckoning for you guys, just so you know.
Yeah, 2020 was supposed to be the year of challenges. Then this stupid coronavirus hit. So 2021 is going to be there's going to be a lot of challenges going down.
You got us beating you. You've got a 13-year-old girl beating you. And it's going to be rough. Sorry.
She'll be 14 by then, so it won't be as.
Is she going to be 14? Yeah. And she'd mop the floor with me, so don't get me wrong there. Just hashtag truth. I'm just.
Nice.
So, yeah, I saw your Beer City mug open out. I was like kind of starstruck. I was a little afraid to meet you guys. I was there at Beer City. And so I've got my mug. I don't have it. And so I've got my IBC going on right now, but no mug.
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because when I first got into pickleball, right away I heard of you as the Paddle Geek and I followed you right away and stuff. But I think, didn't you have a beard for a while? Because I remember looking back at Beer City Open footage and I was editing it, and you're in one of our highlight videos, and like you were kind of talking some smack. You were like, "You guys are going down" or something like that. And I didn't realize that was you when we saw you in person. But then afterwards, when I saw the video, like you had been clean shaven for a little while. So like then I realized, wait a second, that was the Paddle Geek, and I didn't even realize that was him. Because I knew you as a bearded fellow, and I didn't even recognize you.
That was Torvald the lumberjack. Yeah. he might come back, actually. There was a character that he's my long lost brother from the woods, and I've got I don't have the paddle axe here. I don't know if you guys have you guys seen the paddle axe?
No.
No.
Okay, shoot. It's in the other garage, but he created, basically I think I'm going to do some tips from Torvald's perspective, and he is not about the dinking, none of that. It's, and he plays with the paddle axe. It's a 2-bitted axe, with 2 Diller paddles like duct taped on each side of it. In case I live in northern Minnesota, and so if a tree falls on your court, usually you're done. But with the paddle axe, you just clean that up and you keep going. So very handy.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, I was in Torvald mode, I think, at that point, and then I had to clean him up and send him off into the woods again for a little while. So
now you're clean shaven, Brandon.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever gotten a paddle and really like struggled to find something good to say about it? And like, how did you actually go about it?
Yes.
And you don't have to name names or anything here. So.
Oh, I'll name names. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. That's not how I would do it. But so if it's like something that I think is like just really bad, and there's been a couple, I just basically I send like the manufacturer a note and I tell that, as a courtesy to them, I'd be like, I could review this and I'll give my honest perspective, but I also could not review it. And, if you want me to send it back or like, whatever, then there's been once or twice that I have done that with like smaller kind of boutique companies. And so that's been the approach if it's like just something that I don't feel has any kind of like real value to the consumer, to the pickleball world. But yeah, I could probably be a little bit more blunt. I try to tell people what I like and don't like about a paddle. But there definitely is pressure. I'll just be honest. Like, you get these free paddles from manufacturers. You want to find, something good to say about them. Thankfully, most of the ones they send, there is some kind of redeeming quality or like a value to certain players that it might not be my particular choice or taste in a paddle, but they have merit, or so I can typically find something that I think serves people well about it. Maybe it's just the value of it even, it's not a like top tier paddle, but it's a good value. But it can be tricky sometimes. I just try to be really transparent and open with everyone, really, the manufacturers and of course my viewers. I'm not going to lie to them and tell them I love it when I don't. And so, but yeah.
Have you ever had a manufacturer get upset with you or not really appreciate some of your honesty?
Not openly. I think at least, like there's been, like there's been maybe like one or two where I haven't really like, they haven't tended to go other places with their paddles anyway. Those companies maybe were just dabbling in it and tried it, and then I probably just broke their spirit and they quit. No, I don't know. But I don't know. It just not major. None of the major companies, and I've got some. I mean, really good friends within the industry. I think there's so many good quality paddles from pretty much any of the major manufacturers have at least one just top tier paddle that I could be happy using, and so it makes my job pretty easy in that regard, I guess, if that makes sense.
That's cool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, definitely. And one thing I want to say is I absolutely love doing product review videos. It's something that I used to do a lot more when we first started our YouTube channel, and it was mostly like technical devices. Recently, the Selkirk reached out to us to review their Vanguard paddles, and that was the first time that I had ever done a paddle review. And I'm not going to lie, I was kind of nervous about it because like I've never used a Selkirk paddle before, so I kind of like part of me I felt a little unqualified to review it because I didn't really have anything to compare it to in regards to anything else in the Selkirk line. But I mean, Eddie and I each gave our honest opinion and feedback about it in our videos, and it was a lot of fun to do. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback on it. But I did feel like a little bit of pressure, like because I want to make sure I'm honest with everybody. I want to make sure I like tell everybody what I feel about it. But at the same time, it's like I like I don't want to like part of me felt bad about like saying negative things to hurt this company that sent a free paddle. I know Eddie definitely didn't feel bad about that in his video. But we had different experiences. So we got two different model paddles.
Yeah.
He wasn't a huge fan of his. I was a big fan of mine. But I of course I look at the comments that people leave, and some people thought like I was too nice. They were like, "Oh, this guy is just trying to sell paddles. Like he just said like generic stuff to sell paddles. Like, why would I want to sell paddles? I'm not sponsored by Selkirk. I have nothing to gain by them selling these paddles. I legitimately liked the paddle, so why not talk about what I liked about it? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you're always going to comment. I learned that pretty early on that, you know, for a while I would get a little defensive with like people that say, "Oh, you know, you've got a bias or you're, you know, this or that." And now I don't worry about it anymore. Like at the beginning I did for sure. Like I wanted people that trust me and know, you know, I'm, you know, 100% genuine with it, because that's definitely a core value of mine. And so it'd almost be like this personal offense for a little while where it'd be like, "Oh, he's just trying to sell that." And first, I don't sell them. So just like you, that's just not in the. But you know, beyond that, you will never convince some folks, and so I don't even try now. You know, like it's a lot of wasted energy to, you know, either people believe me or they don't, and so
Yeah.
just roll with it. That's kind of what I've had to learn that, you know, through just kind of the hard way or just through experience with it. But
what's like the most rude or mean comment you've ever had on your social media platforms?
oh man, I don't know. There was probably about like the Hawaii Open like commentary. You know, like one guy just I disagreed with him on something else, and then he just like went pretty what he thought was brutally honest about the experience and my commentary, and yeah, subsequently I blocked that person forever. So that's tends to be, you know, if somebody's just off the wall rude, you know, like a just troll level rude, I just block them. I don't comment anymore back. You know, like sometimes I might be dragged into it just a little bit. That's definitely something I'm trying to not do ever again. But you know, like the crazy thing is like you'll get so many. It's just human nature. I think there's like a psychological principle here, but you'll get 20 compliments to like one criticism, and you think about the 20 or the one, you know, criticism more than you think about the 20 compliments, and they mean. And those people actually mean it, and they actually have, you know, so yeah, it's a struggle. You know, you guys are public figures. You guys get it, I think, too, it can be a battle sometimes to keep your head on straight and not let it get you down.
Yeah, I know when we first started doing stuff on social media, well, not necessarily stuff that we posted, but like in the pickleball forum, there were a few times where I had to delete responses I had to people because like I would like to go troll hunting, like where like people that were trolls, I would call them out, and then like I would get engaged. But then like I finally realized like that's all that like fuels them. That's what they want. They want to get reactions from people. So I finally learned that, and I stopped doing that. But like there were some times where I couldn't bite my tongue. I had to like give my honest response to some of these people.
Don't do it.
Pissed me off so bad. It's like some people like I'm not kidding. Like when I first got into pickleball and I joined the pickleball forum, it almost discouraged me so much that I wanted to stop playing pickleball because like I would ask simple questions like, "Hey, like I'm new to pickleball. I'm trying to like find places to play." Like I didn't know about the USAPA and the USAPA places to play and stuff like that. So I would like ask like, "Hey, does anybody know like where I could play pickleball in this area?" And then people would treat me like garbage and like treat me like an idiot for like not looking at the USAPA app first. Yeah. And I didn't even know what the hell the USAPA was at the time. So it's
You're so stupid. How did you not know about that app? Gee.
Yeah.
Right.
God.
Yeah. Google much? Come on.
Right, exactly. Like it was crazy how many snarky replies I would get just for simple questions about like where I can go to play with people. Because like my first 6 months of playing pickleball, I had a very hard time finding people to play with. Like even like I would know where courts were near me. Every time I would go there, there'd be nobody there, and I had trouble getting people that I know to play with me because nobody even knew what pickleball was. So like people would be like, you're, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to join you for that. So finally, some really nice people would send me direct messages, and then I got in touch with some really nice people, and then things started coming together. But for a while, there were some very toxic people on the pickleball forum that turned me off.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing, a little bit of that troll hunting. I like that term, but yeah, definitely not a good way to spend your time, I've realized.
Right. Yeah.
That's eventually like, like that was honestly kind of the impetus like to start the group. It was like, okay, I got to stop like reporting people and just like do my own thing. And then just like, the policy is a little different. Nothing against the forum, and like it's fantastic and brings people together. But I realized that, I just wanted to do something a little differently. And so instead of trying to make the forum do what I wanted it to do, I was like, oh, I need to just do my thing and not look back. So I'm still obviously there and engaged because there's a much larger audience there, and it's the bigger pickleball world. And so, yeah.
It's hard. I mean, that was one of the, when we started off, it was one of the things that, like Webby kind of mentioned, wanting to interact and being able to turn that off and then not take a lot of the stuff personally. And it got to the point where I finally had to accept, like, if you're going to bring yourself to where you're going to make a nasty comment online, then obviously you have issues. And that comment is so much more about that individual person and not actually what they're saying, and kind of recognizing that and almost feeling bad for them. Like how crappy do you have to feel about yourself to want to go online and spread toxicity? Like you have to feel pretty crappy about yourself to get to that point, and you almost have to empathize with this person and feel so bad for them that that's what they do.
Yeah, I get that too. I've had that thought as well. Like that's kind of where I had to go with it too, is reach that level of empathy with those people, and like,
it's tough though.
So sense to me, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I actually want to put a comment on the screen, and this is somebody that commented earlier, and it's a big deal for us because it's somebody that's tuning in on Twitch, which doesn't happen very often, so it's always a big deal. And this comes from GallemorePhotography, and he says, "Top 10, drum roll, please." So this is a throwback to what Brandon said earlier, which I'm looking very forward to.
Yep.
And Brandon has prepared a top 10 paddle list. And if you're ready for it, I would love to hear it.
All right. Can you queue up your drum roll app, Webby, for this?
I got a drum on my desk.
So, all right, starting at number 10, we have the ProLite Rebel Pro. So that is a carbon fiber face paddle. Started, the Titan was actually, I felt like one of the very first like premier paddles on the market. And so, they introduced that carbon fiber paddle. And with the Rebel Pro, I just like the shape a little bit even more than the Titan, although the Titan is also very good. So that one's at number 10. Number 9 is the Gamma Compass, which is not on the wall. Here's the long handle. I should have had all the paddles with me. That would have been nice. But so this is like the long handled version of it. The Compass itself is very different from this, but the materials are the same. It is a thick core graphite paddle. Actually a small handle on it, but I've had a ton of local players that have just like loved that paddle. So the Gamma Compass makes that list. One of the only thick core graphite paddles, although there's another one up the list a little bit from here. All right, and here's one that somebody might not be as familiar with. Number 8 is the Temper Sports Rave LX. This paddle is not yet on the market, or it might be. It might be now. You might like any day now. It's coming. It's been announced, so I can throw it out there. And it's actually a shorter handle and similar shape to the Compass, and it's just fantastic. Thicker core, composite face, good power, good balance, rounded shapes like all the Temper paddles. So really good. Another Michigan company, and Temper Sports. Shout out to Doug and Diana Clark, good friends of mine. So that's number 8. Number 7 is, I just said the Selkirk S2 because the S2 comes in a couple of different iterations and I like them all, or I assume I'm going to like the Vanguard one. Haven't tried that yet. I've used the Invicta of the Vanguard hybrid series. But the Epic, or the S2 Prime, the S2 Amped, and now the Vanguard, I think it's one of the best shapes in pickleball. A good blocky shape, shorter handle, and huge sweet spot and the Selkirk S2. All right, number 6 is so another thick core graphite paddle, a little bit longer handle than the S2. Super soft paddle, one of the softest on the market, and so really good for control.
I think
Can you say the name of that one again?
Yeah.
Okay.
You
You got cut out a little bit. So what was the name of number 6 on your top 10 list?
Number six is the PaddleTech Tempest Wave Pro.
That's our paddle, baby.
Hey, all right.
That's
there
what
you go.
Eddie and I both have been using for quite a while now.
It's on there.
I love that paddle.
It's sweet. I mean, it's butter, right? I mean, so soft, so smooth, but you still got, a lot of mass with the thicker core now. Like the Tempest Wave, I liked it. I couldn't generate a ton of power with it, like I wanted to in my style of game. Now they've kind of taken care of that with the thicker core. It just feels more stable and I can get more power out of it. So I could, any of these paddles on this list and several others that aren't on it, I could play with and be totally happy. So bear that in mind. Okay, so
I love that paddle.
I love that paddle.
I've actually been playing with something else recently that I like a lot too. I'm very curious to see if it's going to be in your top 5. So we'll find out. So what do we got at number 5?
All right, yeah. Don't tell me. Okay, so the number 5 is the Onyx Evo Premier. So this one was co-designed by Matt Wright and Lucy Kovalova, and it's what they use. Big time power. If you've got really soft hands. This is a pro level paddle. I think it's got just tons of power. So kind of opposite end of the spectrum, actually, from the Tempest Wave Pro is to the Onyx Evo Premier. So, but really a ton of fun for me to play with when I'm on and when I'm, my hands are good. That's a fun paddle to use. Number 4 is the Engage Encore 6.0 EX. This is the Encore 6.0 series. I've got one of them here, and here's the Evo Premier as well, I guess, actually. But this is a lot like Selkirk's Amp series. The 6.0 series is a thick core paddle. It's almost like a souped up Amped, in my opinion. Just a little more power than the Amp series, so still soft, but this is a really fun paddle to play with. This is the MX model, so a long handle. This shape was co-designed by Ben Johns, so similar to the shape of paddle that he uses with his Franklin paddle. They're kind of similar. But the EX is a little bit more approachable. It's got a bigger face. It's more like the S2 in terms of the shape, hitting area than this long-handled MX. But they are super great. They've been really impressing me lately and a lot of people. So that's number 4, the Engage Encore 6.0 EX. Number 3, now we're getting into some kind of unique paddles that might surprise people. At the top, my top 3, some of them you might not have even heard of, so we'll see. Crazy. Are you getting a little worried, Webby?
I am.
A little concerned? We haven't hit it yet, have we?
We have not. Nope. I'll be sure to let you know if you mentioned the one I've been dabbling with lately.
Okay. So number 3 is the ProKinex Pro Speed paddle. And so, kinetic tech in there. They've got those little tungsten beads that run all the way around the edge. If you shake it by your ear, it sounds like a baby rattle. I've actually got the Ovation. The Ovation speed is right here. This could be on the list too. There's a few paddles that are like identical in construction, just different shapes. So I could put either one of those at the number 3 spot. This Ovation speed is obviously very different. The Pro speed is more squared off. And I just prefer that one a little bit more. But I've used this paddle. I really love it. They've got some new stuff coming out that I think is going to blow people away. And so watch out for ProKinex coming pretty soon. I'm just kind of waiting any day for that ball to drop. Kind of excited. So, and number 2 is the Gearbox GX6 Control Series. and I don't know if I have a gearbox paddle here. I do have one.
Yeah.
They just dropped a ton of different models, and they are all fantastic. You want a paddle that'll last pretty much forever. The gearbox is the way to go. You are not going to break it. It's solid carbon fiber. The inside is a little different. It's thin, but whoops, wrong way, that way. But it has these ribs that run vertically, and it's just a fantastic. All of them are great. The GX6 and the GX5. GX6 is an elongated version of this, and super soft, and I really love it. But it's not at the number one spot right now. The number one paddle, here we go, is the Players Pickleball Rogue 2.
Wow.
So this is the one that might surprise some folks.
No, I wasn't expecting that either. Nice. Interesting.
I wasn't expecting that myself, to be honest. That one blew me away. It uses their gel core tech, so they've got like gel channels in the paddle. They've got a reinforced throat. I don't have it here because it's in my bag in the car because that's what I use. But I just keep going back to that one. I just think it's so good, so solid, and I think the reason not as many people have heard about them is because they do direct consumer sales only. They don't go through like a Pickleball Central. They're the only ones that are promoting it, and so if you haven't heard about them yet, you will, because I think they're really churning out some good stuff right now. So Players Pickleball Rogue 2. That's the number one. That's the one I use. Nice. So, but all right. So Webby, you're kind of crying behind the shades there. So what do you got? What's in your bag?
So lately, I've been dabbling with the Prince Response Pro, and I've been liking that one a lot.
Yeah, that could easily be an honorable mention. And I think that was in my top 15, in fact, list. And like, there's so many good paddles right now. So many that, and it's such an individual choice. These are my favorites. But yeah, the Prince Response Pro is definitely good. The copy that I have is a little lighter. I've always wanted to try a little bit heavier one. I think they sent me like a 7.5, I think, and I have a Simone edition of it. And so I could really, if Prince is listening right now, I could probably use like an 8 to 8.2 of that, and I'm guessing it would be like a whole new ball of wax. So, yeah. So that's the
Very
Paddle
nice.
Geek top 10 list. So
very cool. Yeah, thanks for doing that. That's awesome that we had the Paddle Geek top 10 list here live on the air. I love it.
That's right, man. I think that should be a standalone video in and of itself.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, and I should have had them on hand, like duh. I had a couple on the wall. Thankfully, it saved me a little bit, but
we can Photoshop them in. We'll have it like pop up on the screen.
There you go. Perfect.
Couple social media comments here. Yeah. GallemorePhotography said, "Thanks for the top 10. That was cool."
You are welcome.
I agree.
Yeah,
that was cool.
And then we actually had a question. Maybe you can answer specifically about a paddle. And this comes from Cheryl Hall Wyatt. She says, "Ask Paddle Geek info on the Temper Tantrum LX. What is his thought?"
Ooh.
So Cheryl is the Tantrum LX. So Cheryl is a Team Underground member, first off. And so I've had the joy of working with her the last 3 months. And so she asked me this. I think she sent me a message about this earlier, and I was just like hanging out with my kids or something. I didn't get to it. So I'm glad you asked again, Cheryl. So I've got the Rave on the list. The Players or Temper Sports Rave was on top list. But it's a fairly similar paddle to that Tantrum LX. It's a really approachable shape. It's similar to like the Gamma Compass, just more rounded off. I think it's fantastic. I think actually, Webby, it is similar, maybe even the same thickness, 9/16 core to the Prince Response Pro. So it kind of reminds me of that,
Okay.
just a different shape. Because some of these paddles are very, the top 10 or the top three paddles are very, very unique in terms of their construction, but some of the other ones are very similar, in terms of just polymer honeycomb, composite face, or carbon fiber face, or graphite face. And so sometimes there's overlap, and then the shapes are different, and that's kind of the case there. But yeah, it's a very good paddle. The Rave obviously made the list. I think I just liked the balance a little bit more with the Rave over the Tantrum, but the Tantrum is too. So yeah, a little bit extra reach, but not like same. So because you're not really seeing those like 17-inch paddles nearly as much as you did for a little bit, just because they get so narrow. If you go 17 inches long, which is the max length that you can have for a paddle, then you get 24 inches total length plus width. And so if you go 17 inches there, you've only got 17 or 7 inches wide, and that's just not enough of a sweet spot for most folks. And pretty much any pros aren't really using it either, so it's not enough for them either. So, but coming down a little, I think that one's like 16 and a half inches long by like 7.5 inches wide. That seems to be like a really nice size for a lot of folks. So, Cheryl, I think it's a great paddle. You're going to see the Temper LX, which is their thicker core version paddles, reviews coming very soon. So, just got those 2 weeks ago, I believe. Yeah. So
nice. Man, this has been awesome. Thank you very much, Brandon, for joining us. I'm glad it worked out for you to be here with us tonight. We always like to give our guests a chance to say whatever's on their mind. So if you want to tell everybody like the best way to follow you, the best way to learn about Pickleball Underground or the Team Underground coaching, now's your chance.
All right, don't blow it. So I think the simplest way is just to join Pickleball Underground. So a request to join will approve you a couple minutes usually, and send me a message. I like to and then I can kind of help point you in the right direction, whether it's Paddle Geek or Team Underground stuff. If you are in Pickleball Underground, you're gonna hear about I'm kind of in launch mode right now for Team Underground. So just start there. Yeah, just join Pickleball Underground. That'd be the easiest way. So yeah,
awesome. Yeah, this was very fun. I love the fact that you were able to join us tonight. And the beauty of this Dinking Around show, like Brandon and I were just chatting a few days ago, and we were like, "Hey, you want to join us on Dinking Around tonight?" And it worked out to where he could join us, and it happened. I love it.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys doing it. Just short notice like this. I really, with Team Underground coming up, I was like, I just want to kind of get the word out. So, and have some fun doing it. And this has been great.
Nice. And anybody tuning in, we say it almost every episode. Like anybody that wants to join us, just let us know. Send us a message. And this is the show, Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. This is the show where like we just whatever happens. Let us know if you want to join us. And we can try to make it happen.
That's right.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, have a good night, and we will definitely be following what you're up to on the Pickleball Underground and the Paddle Geek Team Underground, all of it.
Ooh, actually, I forgot one. Can I add one more thing that I forgot about? So we are actually going to be doing a very special Underground Hero Award right now, or starting very soon, where it's going to be a refs only Underground Hero Award, and it's going to be a little different because we didn't want to make it a popularity contest with refs because they've got to, they got to keep up that facade, their tough exterior and whatnot. I don't know. No, right? I'm just being silly right now, but so it's going to be like you nominate your maybe a refs, local refs, or whoever. And we're going to make it kind of a random drawing for a few different prizes that we have for it, just a way to kind of cheer those refs. They're sitting kind of on the sidelines, but we want to say thank you to them. And so
Right.
that's going to be happening really soon. So if you want to get in on that action, definitely join Pickleball Underground and nominate away. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's great because like I feel like the role of referee is definitely something that is underappreciated because like without the refs for these matches and stuff like that, it's like it's a tough job. I mean, it's something I don't envy people that take on the role of ref for these, especially like the pro matches and stuff like that. Like that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, they basically get paid sandwiches often, so.
Right?
Like quite literally, not always, but yeah, it's sometimes a thankless. No, people thank them. Don't get me wrong, but we could thank them even more. So that's what we're going to try and do.
Oh, for sure.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Love it.
Yeah,
yeah this was great. This is awesome. A very, very fun night. I'm glad you were able to join us, and I hope you have an excellent night. And we will definitely keep in touch and follow what you're up to.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Brandon.
Man, what a fun night. This whole entire night. Episode 71 of the podcast was awesome. Episode 26 of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby was awesome with Brandon Swanson. Such a fun night.
Do you know what I think is crazy is that like, we obviously put a lot of work and planning and setup of the podcast, and then we do Dinking Around. And sometimes I feel like Dinking Around is just as good as a podcast is. And it's like, do we really need all that work and time? Like, let's just talk with people and drink beer and have fun.
Yeah, I agree. Like sometimes Dinking Around it's such a breath of fresh air. It's so much fun. No stress whatsoever because we just roll with it. Whatever happens. Sometimes we don't even know if our guest is going to be able to successfully connect with us.
That's right. That worked out really well, though. Brandon's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Love what he does.
Very cool.
Love, I mean, obviously you can tell he's passionate about the sport. I mean, he's just, he's doing it. He's living it.
Yeah.
It's just, that's what he spends his time focusing on, and you got to love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's awesome stuff. And like nights like tonight, I love it. Like I love the fact that we're involved in this crazy world of pickleball, and just the people that we meet, the people we interact with. It's so awesome, and I love it. And I can't wait to keep doing it more and more.
That's right. Webby, do you hear that in the background?
No, I don't hear anything.
Sirens?
No.
It's the Naples police.
Oh, it's way past your bedtime.
they're knocking on doors and they're like, "Whoa, buddy! It's after 9 p.m. Lights are on. You're being loud. What is going on?"
Way past curfew. You're laughing. You're having a good time, and it's that's a no-no. That's a no-no where you're at.
That was a lot of fun though. Anything else we want to talk about for Dinking Around?
No, I think that's it. We covered a lot of great stuff with Brandon. That was a very fun episode. And that was a great surprise getting that top 10 list. I had no idea he wanted to do the top 10 list, and that was awesome. I loved it. And I'm going to try some of those paddles out that he mentioned, I think.
I agree. I was very surprised at some of the paddles that he picked, but I'm excited to potentially try them out. We're going to be throwing links down below to all of Brandon Swanson, a.k.a. the Paddle Geeks sites, so you guys can check it out. And who knows, maybe that top 10 video can be its own standalone video for the channel. Who knows?
Yeah.
You never know. You
never
know
that.
what's going to happen.
I can definitely see that. You just never know. You never know what Eddie and Webby are going to do.
That's right. But I tell you what, you can count on, and that is we're going to have more amazing podcasts and videos and everything coming up in the near future. So definitely stick around. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. I think like 92% of people that watch our videos are not subscribers. I don't get it. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And all it does is it helps you get notified when we have amazing content like professional players or like Connor and Connor from the PPA or Brandon Swanson, the Paddle Geek on the show. And if you don't subscribe, you don't know about it. And then you're just a big dummy.
Right. And just like you said, it's free. It costs nothing to subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe.
Do it. Shameless plug. Over.
Yep.
That was Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. This has been a fun night. We have podcast 71 with Connor and Connor from the PPA. Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby with Brandon Swanson, a.k.a. the Paddle Geek. Doesn't really get much better than that, does it, Webby?
It doesn't. That was awesome. Very fun night.
That's right. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.